everybody. We are here today for the December energy update. Yep, it has come pretty quickly, the end of the year of 2022, and we are moving into massive energies. Many of you have probably felt this collectively. What I will share with you today is what we're going to see for December. Remember, they use a lot of metaphors, they use visuals that I will give you. I try to interpret those the best I can with what they give me, and then we're also going to get a glimpse into 2023 from what I have been told this week, because I've already gotten some information. So that said, we're going to take a look at what we've got coming up in December and then moving into 2023. Oh, they just said get a glimpse. Okay, so that they are going to do that then for us today. So I don't know about you guys, but I just want to give you a sense of kind of what I'm been seeing out there right now, and then we'll get into December, but also what I'm experiencing myself. So there are a lot of us who will process for the collective energies. Remember, we're all one, okay? So even if you sit in your home all day long and you don't encounter that many people, you're still surrounded by collective energy. So what I want you to know, because this has happened to me in spades over the last month, and I knew it, but I really didn't do anything about it until I realized, oh, I should have an energy healing to clear this. Now, I clear my own energies, but I still believe that, at least for myself, energy clearings with another person, with another practitioner, is really, really powerful. Sometimes they can see things that we can't see in ourselves, right? Needless to say, I knew I was processing collective energy. What you may feel as a result of that, and this is why we want to know thyself, they've said this before, is really understanding our body, how we react, what our typical patterns are, is because you will start potentially seeing atypical patterns of anxiety, of emotions, of being on edge, of just not feeling like yourself. And I don't just mean for a moment, I'm kind of consistently. This is what's happened with me, and I know with others. But the bottom line here is there's a lot of collective angst out there for, as you probably know, a variety of reasons. A lot of fear. But the thing is, we're here to be able to stay strong and stand tall and, they just say stay rooted and grounded. And that's hard too, because we're human, right? So even though we have this role as light workers to help ground the rest of and clear, the collective assist in that in many ways, a lot of us, right? It still can be difficult for us because we have our own work that we're dealing with and our own human lives. So what I just want you to know is, if you've been feeling this way over the last few weeks, and you're going to probably feel this also through December at least, is that take a good look at what you know about yourself and your patterns and your habits and your emotions. Again, this is really about this inner journey of understanding how we react and are triggered, and looking at what it is that you're feeling on a regular basis. For me, I'll just use this as an example. For 3 weeks, I was waking up in the middle of the night worrying, and I'm not a worrier, worrying and anxiety, like not off the charts, but enough to keep me awake and have my head spinning so that I couldn't fall back to sleep, about health issues, of family, friends, not even that they have health issues, but that things were, I was starting to worry about people that I didn't need to worry about, right? Worrying about the passing of loved ones, worrying about financials. That was a biggie. So a lot of not just your own stuff might come up, but what you want to do is really understand that it's probably being accentuated by the collective, and some of it may not be yours at all. Let's just use as an example, my example of me being worried about people and concerned for their health when I didn't have anything to be worried about. Well, we're in a season now where, particularly in the Northern Hemisphere, with the winter coming, and then there's all this talk about, COVID and the viruses, and, just, it's out there all the time. My point is people, the fear of just forget health in general, that's the financials comes up for revisiting. That's another thing that happened with me. The financials. Oh my gosh. We all have our stuff with the financial construct. Okay, every single person is going to have it in one way or another, whatever that means for you, that you need to work on and clear with respect to what money means for you and how it is behaving in your life, or what your relationship is. So it's one of the constructs. So we've talked about this before, but point is, you know, right now, if you don't really have any concerns or worries, like me, frankly, oh my gosh, they were all popping up right and left. I've had my own clearings and work and triggers with the financial construct, you know, in I'll just kind of say the recent past, within the last 5 years. But I've worked on this, and I knew this wasn't me. I knew it wasn't me. And I knew it was the collective, because as you probably know, worldwide, you know, things are a little dicey with respect to the financial construct, financial, you know, the marketplace, all of that, worldwide marketplace. So again, people are worried and concerned, and that shows up in the collective mindset, the collective energy that we then feel, because we are so much more sensitive and we are doing work for the collective. So again, it's fear. They just said it's not real. I know it's not real, but it feels real. It can feel real. But what we do is we take something, okay, a nugget of something, and we create a mountain out of it, typically when our minds get going. So what I really want you to focus on right now is looking at your patterns, your habits, and really knowing yourself, and it does take being able to have some quiet time to really understand yourself, and being able to be very insightful about how you feel, understanding your body, your mind, your emotions, and then being able to work with what you're seeing in yourself. So what I did, and I would recommend this if this is what you are feeling, if you're feeling like I had been over the last 3 weeks or so, and you just are off and it's not changed, consider getting yourself energy clearing. And I'm not saying necessarily by me. You know, we all have our go-to people, but I do offer it. But, however, I will tell you, it is a powerful method of helping you clear out. I feel like myself again, which means I'm now reestablishing my every 2-week energy clearings with my practitioner as well. Anyway, I want to just give you a quick update on kind of what's going on right now. But what we're going to do today now, we're going to talk about what's going to be coming up. And so now what I'm receiving... Okay, they were just saying leading the way. Oh, into the new year. I have chills. Okay, so leading the way into the new year, and what they're showing, okay, they're jumping into January, February. But what I want to do, I don't want to talk about that yet. We're going to keep that visual in my mind. But we're leading the way through December in the sense of, they keep talking about preparation. I'm trying to understand the energy that they're showing me for December and trying to describe it for you, because what they're showing is, okay, they just said this is the time to step up. Into the preparation of the gateway. All right, we're going to just go with this, okay? So this is what they brought in last week for me, is they showed me a visualization of it. I'm just going to go with this explanation, because those of you, a lot of you will be able to relate to this, is I just see a lot of white figures dressed in white, a whole line of figures. It looks like you're going to heaven, you know, the typical gate to heaven kind of visualization. After you pass, they're all lined up, right? So that's what they're showing, but they're saying, no, those are light workers. We're giving you that visualization. Whoa, I have a lot of chills. Those are light workers, because you're going through a gateway. Oh, I have so many chills. You're going through a new energetic gateway. They're talking about a portal, but it's a gateway. Portals are different than gateways, is what they're telling me. They've told me this before. Gateways are big, massive, they just said entrance points. Oh, they just said to a new place and time. Okay, so what this visualization is we are walking into this gateway. And I'm getting a February, like January, February time frame for this. But now what we're doing is we're making, oh, they just said you're making the march. Oh, okay. And remember, these are metaphors, okay? So it's not like you're going to go out and walk down the street and go to a mountain. I think you know that. But the point is we're starting the march and to this gateway that we are leading, okay, leading the rest of the collective to. Okay, it's not going to feel, okay, they said it's not going to feel like it, but it feels like stretched and pulled. And they say to me, and they said this the other day, and now they're saying it again, is if you thought you knew what your journey was now or before, you have no idea what's coming. As in, if you thought you knew your journey before, you didn't. Because remember, everything shifts and changes, right? We think we know these things, right? Like, oh, I'm on this trajectory, and this is my path. What I'm getting is 2023 is going to be a massive upheaval. They just said the word upheaval. And how that looks, I don't know. Actually manifested, right? So I'm showing you energy right now. But what I will say to you is, remember, everything that we talk about in the collective is also individual. But they're talking about individually as light workers. That we're stepping up. We're going to step up, and we're going into that gateway. It's a gateway of. Okay, they just said new collective energy, new time. Oh, they just said a new timeline. The higher timeline. Oh, they just said because of the work you've done. Oh, I have so many chills because of the work Lightworkers have done. And remember, some of us sit there and think, well, what have I done? I've just kind of been working on myself. That's the key. That's the key, is working on yourself. You're part of the collective. If everybody did exactly what you're doing and working on yourself, working on your triggers, working on the creations you want to make, the relationships you want to shift and change, all those things that don't serve you, and creating things that do serve you in your journey, if everybody did that and did it with love and beauty for the way forward, and respect for others, and most importantly, respect for yourself, because you can't have really respectfully for others until you have worth and respect and love for yourself. And that's the journey we've been on, right? And now we're going to be able to exude this out in ways as we continue to grow in ourselves to the collective. So what they're showing is that this is a new timeline that we're moving into. Okay, they keep saying a new gateway. Oh, they just said gateways lead to timelines. The higher timeline of the collective. To the journey to the oneness of all is what they're saying. You're making a massive step up. Keep doing what you're doing and more. Your journey is going to shift and change. They just said it again. If you think you know what your journey is, think again. And this is, it's like a metaphor, but at the same time, it's like an explosive opportunity in 2023. We're talking about 2023, I guess. We're going to come back and talk about December. But I'm seeing January, February, and I'm not going much further right now. And we'll probably do a little more of that as we come into the new year and the January energy update. But, all right, I just want to, okay, let's talk about December. But we're going to, the key here is they're talking about we're moving into a higher timeline. It doesn't look like it out there, right? It doesn't look like it, because that's the key. I'll just say I know this probably doesn't make any sense, but the worse it looks like out there, the more we're progressing. I know that doesn't make sense, but the growth is happening. But we just see this, especially if we're jumping into the muck and looking at that. No. We want to stay over here and look at the new earth, the new beauty, the creations that we're making individually and that others are making. Those are the things you want to focus on, not that. We've said this over and over again. But what we're going to feel and hear, and potentially with the collective energy, is more of this, because we're separating out and we're creating this. But what's happening, okay, pulling a greater number of souls with you is what they're saying. So, because remember, it's magnetic. We talk about this a lot. We talk about how we are magnetic to the others, but now we're going through and we're okay, they just said you're up leveling, you're moving to a new timeline. 2023 is a new timeline. December is, okay, December is what they're showing me here. What are the things you want to take into 2023, into the stepping into the new year? Now, we can all sit here and say, as I've said before, oh, well, January 1st is just another day. Time's not linear. I know that. However, because the collective has created this massive energy around the importance of the New Year's, the world celebrates the new year. Guess what? It is important, and it's massive. Because we're creator beings, right? So we created this thing called New Year's. And so we do have a new year coming that is going to be different energetically. And the work that we've done in, they just said in the creative aspect, all of us have, so 2022, as we had said a year ago, was going to be of the creative aspect. We're going to start creating. Now that doesn't mean the manifestation is done. You know, it's like not like baking a cake, like in 2 hours you got it done and everybody's eating it. This is a process of patience over time, and it's also baby steps with big, huge shifts and changes along the way. But what they're talking about is this was about creating the new within each of us in 2022. But it may have just been an idea, right? So many of us have got new thoughts and ideas, and we've started laying the groundwork for, I'll just say, how we want to live our lives, whatever that means for you. Whatever that means for you. It could be as simple as, I don't know, you're moving from the house you're in to a new house, new town, you're setting up, okay, so here's what they're saying. You're setting up the foundation for your journey forward because of the work that's been done previously in you individually, and now collective as light workers, that comes together into a brighter light. What you're doing is you've and again, we're all in waves, so if this doesn't resonate with you, just kind of know where you are in the journey. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're being pulled along, okay, with the rest of the light worker community. And what they're saying to me is, okay, creative expansion. All right, so it was the start of creation, the creation of the new earth that we want within ourselves. We've dealt with our triggers. We dealt with a lot of our issues. We dealt with the dust in the corners. Remember, 2022 was a big year of, you know, I thought I was done with dealing with this emotional trigger or this relationship or whatever it is, right? And then the dust in the corners came out. It's like, no, we got to clean this up because that's why it's back, right? So that was a year of that. So now we've done a lot of that work. So now we are moving into this idea of, okay, we feel more stable in ourselves. We've shifted and changed. We've integrated soul fragments. Doesn't mean we stop doing that, but for the most part, you know, particularly in this first waiver group, we've integrated, done the work, been dedicated to it, pulled in our soul fragments, decided on our timelines, right? Like our higher self is guiding us in the way we move forward. Our signs and messages are there for us. We're still clearing and working on our stuff, but we know how to do that in many ways. It's a smoother process. It may not still be fun, but we're going through it. We know how to do that. Okay, so as we're doing that now, what we're moving now into is creative expansion, okay? So we're moving into creation, but again, it may have been an idea. Now the expansion is happening because we've got this foundation built. You know, we've done our self-care, we've done all these other things, and we're not done, but point being is this is here for us to then expand our creation, whatever it is that we're working on. It isn't always just one thing either. Keep that in mind. Creative expansion into the light of who you are to show others the way is what they just said. So how that boils down, so December is kind of that prep time. Not that like on January 1, everything's just shift and change. Remember, this is a patience process. It's going to flow. You're flowing down a stream. Remember that. You're flowing down a stream. All right? Don't get hung up about, oh my God, on January 1, I have to know everything. No, that's not how this works. Not at all. It's actually a much gentler process than we humans make life to be, even though it doesn't necessarily feel that way, and mainly because we have a lot of trouble dealing with our triggers and our emotions, but we're learning how to do that. So what I'm getting in December, they're showing it's real interesting. It's a very, well, they just said the word silky, like a silky month. I don't know what that means. Silky month of, there's a lot of energy around this conversation. They're talking about, like, I don't want to explain this, inner comfort, inner awareness. There's a gentler energy, it feels like, for December. And I'm not meaning for the collective necessarily. I'm talking about for light workers. This is real interesting. It's like the entry point. It's like we're walking to the entry point of this gateway that will be coming. But this is not a collective. This is weird. This is not a collective energy. Oh, I have chills. It's a collective it's partially a collective energy because it's for light. It's for light workers. It's for those who are consciously conscious. Even if you just started being consciously conscious, it's like this flow of this energy of you're aware, self-aware, you're self-aware, and now you're able to, in many ways, hear signs and messages, and there's this flow of this gentle energy in December. It feels like, all right, they're giving me some metaphors or some examples of like, they just said smooth as silk, soft as rabbit's fur, and they're showing like the kind of a buttery feel. Now that doesn't mean, I will keep saying this, that doesn't mean we're not going to have things come up, but in general we have this opportunity. I think a lot of this also has to do with the idea that, again, for the Northern Hemisphere, we're in our big midst of our winter, and that quiets and slows things down. So a large part of the population of the collective is in the Northern Hemisphere. So we're being, they just said kind of shut down, but like an inner kind of quiet. That's what winter's for, first of all, by the way. Well, okay, so what they're showing, God, this is going in interesting places. They're showing our Southern Hemisphere friends, those of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere. Okay, they're talking about, it had to be the flip. So not that the population is the same. It doesn't mean that. There's the energy of still the movement and the energy moving, and having had the quiet time for themselves of their winter. And I know not everybody has a dead of winter, but there's this idea of winter for everyone, kind of, right? For the most part. And their Southern Hemisphere there's just a little more, there's more energy there, in the sense, more movement is what I'm getting. And that's necessary to offset what they're saying is this is interesting, the winter quietude. I think we're going to have really rough winters. Why? Like we don't already, right? Like I think Buffalo had 8 feet of snow. I have no idea in the United States. I do know there's an offset they're talking about. That's real interesting. That's the first time that's ever come through. But this winter, so we're in December for the most part, a lot of us in winter. And so we've got I'll just say, momentum's still going energetically. They keep showing this like it's a faster energy for the Southern Hemisphere because they're in their summer. And the Northern will be in the winter, or excuse me, yes, in the winter. There's a slowness. We're being asked to take this opportunity in December as we move into January to reclaim the beauty of these times. They really want us to just, and I don't mean the cocooning so much. I mean, you can do it that way, but that's not what this is. This is, I wish I could describe this. This is you're flowing. You're flowing down the stream, whatever that means for you. We're flowing. We're going to the gateway, this new gateway of different energy. It feels like a dimensional shift. Now, remember, there are degrees of dimensional shift, okay? It's not we go from, and again, we call it 3D, 4D, 5D. That's another label. These are all degrees. We're all moving in degrees. So what I'm getting is we're having a dimensional shift. We don't have another eclipse, as I understand it, till April, but we're in the middle of these energies. And what they've very much shown me is this is part of why it's like in between eclipses is what they're showing me. The energy is, they just said transformational. I don't know what's in April, to tell you the truth. I just know it's in April. What we've got is an eclipse coming. And of course we have the winter solstice, which is going to launch us into the new year, into this, they just said the entry point of this new gateway. I think you're going to know it and you're going to feel it as we enter into 2023. So what I want you to think about for December is how do you just flow? How do you let this flow? I know for a lot of us, we're celebrating holidays, and that can be a zoo. But what they're really looking at is how do you take that and make it a gentler process? Because we're going to need our energy moving into the new year, into 2023, because there's two sides to this coin. There's a lot of chaos. If you want to get lost in the chaos, and I know some of us struggle with staying out of the muck And I'm going to tell you right now, as these two become stronger and stronger and pull further and further apart, you have the strength of that, I'll just say, chaos of the old earth. It will have a potential stronger pull. So you have to be very aware, all right? Very aware of yourself and pull yourself out of it, because we have equally strong energy and light over here. It is also magnetic over here, but we also have a magnetism here that can happen, as you well know. All of us can get pulled into certain conversations, into certain media, into certain activities. It's kind of insidious, right? So you have to still be aware. But for many of us, we have gotten to this stage where we've transcended that. We know how to transcend that. Okay, they just said you've reached a new level of maturation in your journey. Remember, this is collective Lightworker speaking, okay? And I also want you to remember there are stages, or there are waves, okay? So not everybody's right there at that front end, and it doesn't matter if you're at the back end or whatever that even means, right? We're all going to be part of a Lightworker journey at some point, okay? A move to the new earth. But right now what we got is we've got this front end that's leading the way, chopping through the jungles. Remember the metaphors I've used, blazing the trail for other Lightworkers to show up behind us and make it easier for us, because we're parting the waters. So we are now here they just said in a stage of maturation. I'm going to keep reminding you, though, that doesn't mean we won't still have our work. This is a human journey, right? Of continuing to ascend into a higher frequency, a higher light, reclaiming the light that is truly who we are, and we're doing it so that we can live it in human form, okay? So remember that. But at the same time, we still are going through the jungle. We're still going through the jungle. It may look brighter. You may see the mountaintop, but, okay? So this is a journey. This is a collective process that takes time, all right? We have to have patience. And what I will say to you is don't think of it as, oh, an end goal. Okay, we're going to get there. This is a continuous process of growth. It is a collective continuous process of growth, as well as the journey of the Lightworker. Continue to bring more and more light in. But what I'm really getting here is let this be smooth, let this flow. We're at a maturation point. Wow, that is so interesting. I've not seen this before. Maturation point, because of what happened with 2022 and so much that we've dealt with, where we are able to more easily flow in December, take advantage of December. I keep getting the quieter times, okay? Well, the opportunity. Because remember, it's all what you do with it, right? You're the creator of your own journey, even though sometimes we don't think that. We are. And then as we do this and we make this, I'll just say March, now they're showing the move to the gateway. We're entering, I feel like it's February. They keep showing January, February. They're not showing much after that right now. This gateway of energy, they just said dimensional shift, timeline shift. Because remember, timelines, we're doing converging of timelines in our own personal journey. We're bringing back soul fragments, so we've been doing that, right? We are choosing our highest timeline in all the things we're doing with respect to clearing, ancestral work, past life work, inner child work, all the choices we make in our day-to-day, trigger work, what else? The parts of ourselves that we didn't recognize before that we now know are part of us, and understanding them, all of that work, right? And we are now becoming more whole in ourselves is what I'm getting. More whole, W-H-O-L-E, in ourselves. And we're getting ready for this dimensional shift. And remember, it's in degrees. And I feel like you're going to feel it in some individual way, whatever that means for you. Oh, they just said no denying. There's going to be no denying over the course of those first few months. I'm just saying few months. Again, you know, when I talk about future, it's what I'm seeing now. It's what I'm seeing now. Manifestation, you know, I'll just say takes time, right, in 3D. But we've been creating I'm having trouble talking because I'm in a different space right now, so I apologize. We've been creating what we want all along in our thoughts and in our day-to-day actions, and now we're going to be bringing that into fruition. That will then help bring in the rest of, or more of, the collective, from the even stronger energy over here and the stronger energy here. I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but they're both magnetic, but the light requires the dark. Okay, light and dark are one. It's just a different way of looking at things. It's contrast. Okay, but the light will always bring in what we call the dark, but what I keep getting is these continued collective crossing the bridge over to the light. And that's more people waking up, more and more and more. That's going to be a continuous process, all right? And additionally, what I will say to you is, in old earth, in the things that we see that are chaotic and troublesome and sad and all of that, a lot of those things are what are required to wake people up. As you well know with your own journey, many of us have had traumatic situations wake us up. Okay? So needless to say, if we're looking at the whole collective needing to be awakened at some point, guess what? Got to see the contrast. Got to see it. And it doesn't look pretty, right? But over here, oh my gosh, we're moving through a new gateway. I want you to know this. However that ends up for you, however you feel that, keep knowing that what you're doing day to day matters. And in December, just take that in. Flow through that this month. They just keep saying flow through this month. Okay, they just said shore up. I'll say it like this, only it's like you're getting ready for battle, but it's not that kind of battle. Okay, so when you get ready for battle, you shore everything up. But this not with anxious energy is what they're getting. Like, you shore up things. Like, okay, oh wow, 2022. That's so weird. When I said that, I just happened to look at the amount of time that this video has been going, and I look at, it says 2020. 22. Anyway, thought that was kind of interesting. So what we want to do is really kind of think about, what do we want to carry into the new year. December's a great time to do that, and to really be feeling into our habits and our patterns. And I'm going to give you some examples. I'll give you some examples for me. Meditation. Wow, I used to meditate all the time. I mean, 3 times a day, for sure, 2 times, and usually at least half an hour a day. I felt great when I was doing that. Well, guess what? I haven't really been doing that much. I'm really rushed to get in my mornings started. I don't need to do that. I am now doing a longer meditation at night, so I'm getting back to that. So December for me is going to shore up, right, my meditations. And not that I have to shame myself for missing a day, but I'm going to shore that up. Also for me, I tend to be a night person, right? Well, I was staying up till midnight, and that did not serve me. It's not that I slept in. I would still get up at the same time, but then I was tired. So now what I'm doing is I back that out, and I've been really good about this, is making sure that everything's shut off at 11. And I'm in bed and asleep, and I'm out of my bed at 7 and starting my day. And again, give or take a few minutes, but my point in this is the healthy habits, the things that we establish for ourselves moving forward. I'll just keep saying this to you. It's the launching pad for everything. Healthy habits include your relationships, your, shoring all that up. All the self-care stuff. I won't go through this again, but shoring it up as though you were readying for something, because you are. But again, remember, it's not a war or a battle. It's not for us, okay, is what I will say. This is not about taking what we've gained and created, turning back around and looking at this and attacking it. Now, that said, a lot of us may be working, okay, in this old earth situation, but with new earth energy and all the work that you've done individually. That's the key. So remember that. It doesn't mean we're all extracting ourselves from the 3D world of, work and the kinds of things that we're involved in day to day. We may be right in the muck of working in, for example, an industry that is that is so old earth it's not even funny, right? Or we may be in such difficult circumstances in our day-to-day, but we know we're meant to be there, right? Some of us have those missions. My point in that is we're bringing the light in, okay? We're bringing the light in because guess what? That's part of that cracking that foundation down, okay? And so December is this time they keep saying to shore things up, to shore, S-H-O-R-E, shore things up, and really not do it in a, I have to have this done by January 1. As an example, I used to freak out before my awakening. I mean, really freak out. Like, okay, I have to spend a whole day and I need to get all my resolutions done and I need to list them and I need to really be engaged. I was a stressed out mess by the time January 1 showed up. This is not what they're talking about. It's not about setting resolutions. It's about looking, I mean, you can do that, but it's not that energy at all. This is about looking at what you've done for yourself over the course of this last year and before, and the flow of that. You can actually take a look at this in a really pictorial way or a visual way. Remember, our imagination is really powerful, and you'll be able to see this. So what you might want to do, this is coming in now as an idea, is look at yourself on your stream. Okay, the stream that's flowing, this beautiful stream that's flowing, and you're in, I don't know, your canoe. And your stream in and of itself is flowing beautifully. But remember what we've talked about, the pebbles of the rocks that are in your way, they're actually what we typically throw in our way, all right? Whether it's our soul self doing this so that we can learn differently, or our own human self, which most of the time the human self is the one that does that, right? It seems. But what this is about is really looking at each of the things that you have created in your journey. You've shifted and changed, new habits, whatnot. Where are they at in the flow of the stream? Are they shored up? Are they, you know, helping you flow more smoothly, or have they actually become an obstacle because of how you feel about them, or whether you're doing any of it or not, and you know that it serves you and you're not, has it become a big boulder for you, right? So the thing that you were looking at shifting and changing, how is that contributing to your flow of your stream, okay? What you really want to be able to have is just occasional little pebbles in the way, right? Now, I realize our journey is one where we are brought things for us to deal with, but how we deal with them depends on where we are in our journey and what we've done so far, because things start getting, I'll just say, more easily manageable, but that's a process in and of itself. But take a look at the flow of your own stream. Where are your pebbles? What are your habits? What are the things you're looking at wanting to smooth out? They keep showing this, smooth out that flow of your journey so that you can prepare for the new year. Because I'm getting creative expansion, I'm getting shore up in December. We're moving into a new timeline, a gateway. They show this, and they keep showing all the white light, individual energy bodies moving into this new gateway. It looks like just a big portal, but they keep saying, no, it's not a portal, it's a gateway, which is different apparently. And we're passing into it. They're talking about a dimensional shift. And again, in degrees. Wow, this is so interesting. And they just said it doesn't always seem to be what it is. It doesn't always seem to be what it is. Shore yourselves up. Prepare for the unknown. For your journey has just begun. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have chills. Okay, well, I hope that this December energy update has been helpful to you, that you found at least one or two things along the way that resonate with you. Like I always say, this is a puzzle you're creating for your own journey. I help you understand what the energies are going to be and what they look like in the visualizations that they give me. And hopefully you're getting some puzzle pieces to put together for the puzzle of your own ascension and awakening journey. So again, I didn't introduce myself, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Carolyn. I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And I thank you so much for joining me today. Check out purplerainhealing.com, where I offer all of my channeled services, one-on-one mentoring for spiritual awakening and your life journey, where we uncover in all of my sessions your soul journey. We help you understand the overarching past, present, future of your soul journey and how this current incarnation is connected to all of that, and helping you understand how the spiritual journey is connected to your current life journey, and explaining a lot of the things that are happening to you now, relationships, experiences, through the channeled messages and the mentoring that I do with you one-on-one. So check it out, purplerainhealing.com. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful December, and I will see you in the next video.